Okay, I need to say something that is going to make some of you deeply uncomfortable. If you are forcing yourself to finish books you hate, you are not a dedicated reader. You are in a toxic relationship. And the worst part, the book doesn't care about you. It's not going to thank you. There's no medal. No one is coming out of the shadows like, wow, you pushed through 600 pages of boredom. You're so brave. No, you just wasted like 8 hours of your life and you're never getting those hours back. So today we are talking about why some of you are out here suffering for no reason. Why DNFing feels illegal and why learning to quit books might actually be the thing that makes you fall back in love with reading. Hello, readers. Welcome back to The Litdulterous Whore, the podcast where we read what we want, say what we want, and absolutely do not suffer through bad books for the sake of appearances. I'm your host, and today we are setting you free. Because some of you, well, you're trapped. Not in life, not in relationships, but in books that you hate. So let's start with the psychology because this is where it gets a little uncomfortable. DNF guilt does not come from the book. The book is not sitting here judging you. The book is not like, wow, couldn't even make it past chapter 6. Embarrassing. No, DNF guilt comes from you, your conditioning, your need to be good at things, your need to be perceived a certain way. And honestly, it's a tad delusional because some of you genuinely believe you're in a committed relationship with a book. I'm going to newsflash you right here. You're not. You are in a one-sided situationship with paper. And it's time we unpack that because there are 3 main reasons you're out here suffering for no reason. Number 1, I spent money on this guilt. You bought this book and not just casually. Oh no, some of you went full feral. Hardcover, special edition, sprayed edges, signed copy. Maybe you even pre-ordered it based on vibes alone. In there. You didn't just buy a book, you built a fantasy. You were like, this is going to be the one. This is going to alter my brain chemistry. And now you're 120 pages in thinking, why do I hate this? But instead of accepting that reality, you're now doubling down because now it's not just about the book. It's about justifying the purchase of said book. You're like, I cannot have wasted $35 on this. I must finish it. I must make this worth it. No, let me free you. The money is already gone. It's finished, evaporated. You finishing the book will not bring the money back. You suffering through 400 more pages doesn't suddenly turn it into a good investment. In fact, now not have you only wasted your money, but you've also wasted your time. Congratulations. You just played yourself. You didn't buy responsibility. You didn't sign a contract in blood. You are not legally bound to this book. You bought an experience, and the experience was bad. You're allowed to leave the restaurant. You don't sit there eating food saying, well, I paid for it. I guess I'm choking this slop down. No, you send it back. Or at the very least, you stop eating it. We need that kind of energy on the DNFing. Number 2, everyone else loved this guilt. This one's dangerous because this is where book talk respectfully loses its mind. You open your phone and it's, this book destroyed me. I will never recover. This altered my DNA. This is the best book ever written in the history of literature. Everyone is crying, screaming, throwing up dramatically in perfect lighting. And you're like, okay, I guess I need to read this book immediately. So you do. And then nothing. You're reading and you're like, is it coming? Is the devastation somewhere in the room with us? You're waiting for that moment, that spark, the thing that makes it make sense. And it never happens. But instead of trusting your own brain, you gaslight yourself. You're like, nah, no, it must be me. I must not get it yet. And so you keep going and going and going, hoping to earn the same reaction everyone else had. Let me say something that might upset some people right now. Some of these people didn't love the book as much as they say they did. I'm just going to leave that there because there is now a performance aspect to reading online. Now, people want to be part of the moment, part of the hype, part of that conversation. Sometimes that means they exaggerate or convincing themselves they felt something they didn't. Meanwhile, you're sitting there 200 pages deep, bored out of your freaking mind, thinking, when do I get to start crying? You don't, because here's the truth that will save your reading life. Just because a book is popular does not mean it's good. And just because a book is good does not mean it's going to be good for you. Your taste is allowed to be different. You are not broken. You are just not easily influenced. And honestly, that's a strength. Number 3, the I'm not a quitter identity. This one is deeply ingrained because this didn't start with books. This started when you were like 8. Finish what you start. Don't quit. Push through. And in life, sure, that can be valuable. But some of you took that lesson and applied it to literally everything, including things that do not deserve that level of commitment, like books you hate. So now you've built this identity. I'm the kind of person who always finishes books. All right. But at what cost? Because what you're actually saying is, I ignored my own enjoyment in order to maintain an identity. That's not discipline. That's self-betrayal. You are prioritizing being perceived as a certain kind of reader over actually enjoying reading. And I need you to hear this. No one is tracking your completion rate. There's no leaderboard. No one is standing behind you with a clipboard going, yes, she finished 97% of the books this year. That's impressive. No one cares. And if they do, we have an even bigger problem. Reading is not a job. Well, I guess it is for me. You are not being graded. You're not in school. You don't get extra credit for emotional endurance. The smartest readers I know will DNF aggressively because they protect their time. They curate their experience. They don't just blindly consume anything. So if your whole personality is, I'm never DNFing, I'm going to gently say this. That's not the flex you think it is. It just means that you tolerate things you don't enjoy. And we're not going to do that anymore. So now that we've exposed the real reasons, the money, the hype, the identity crisis, the question becomes, what happens when you keep ignoring all of that and continue reading books you hate anyway? Because this is where it actually starts to mess with your brain. Let's talk about the consequences of DNFing, because there are consequences. And I don't mean like, oh no, I wasted a few hours. No, I mean you are actively sabotaging your own reading life and then acting confused about why nothing hits anymore. Like some of you are out here saying things like, reading just doesn't feel the same lately. Yeah, because you turned it into a punishment. You fall into reading slumps that aren't real. Let's say something that might offend the I'm in a slump community. A lot of you are not in reading slumps. You're in bad book jail. You have the key. And instead of leaving, you're redecorating your prison cell. You're like, maybe I just need to try harder. Maybe I need a different bookmark. Maybe I'll read it at a different time of day. No, you need a different book. Because think about it. When you actually love a book, you are unwell. You are neglecting responsibilities. You're like, just one more chapter at 2 a.m. where your eyes are like on fire. You're thinking about it when you're not reading it. That's not a slump. That's chemistry. So if you are picking up a book and immediately feeling resistance, if it feels like homework, if you're checking how many pages are left every 5 minutes, this is not a slump. That is your brain saying, girl, no. But instead of listening, you force it. And then what happens? You stop reading altogether. Days go by, weeks go by. And now you're telling people, I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't get into anything. Yes, you can. You just haven't picked something worth getting into. Be honest. It's not that you don't want to read. It's that you don't know what to read. No, it's that you don't want to read that. You start associating reading with obligation. And this is where it gets a little tragic. Because this is how people accidentally kill their love of reading. And it happens slowly, quietly, over time. At first, it's just one book you push through, then another. Then suddenly, your entire TBR feels like a to-do list. You're not choosing books anymore. You're managing them. You're like, okay, I need to finish this one so I can start that one. And I promised I'd read this one. And everyone's talking about this. And what point did this become a job? Who assigned this to you? Because now, instead of, ooh, I get to read this, it's like, ugh, I have to finish this. Your brain makes that switch. It remembers. Your brain is like, ooh, reading, effort, boredom, obligation. Got it. Don't want to do it. And the next time you have free time, you don't reach for your book. You reach for your phone because that phone gives you dopamine. Your book giving you stress. And then people say things like, why is everyone reading less? This is why. Because you've trained yourself not to enjoy it. You start hate reading and giving it a chance. We need to talk about this behavior specifically because some of you are not reading. You are hate reading and you're disguising it as being fair. You're like, I just wanted to give it a real shot. No, you don't. You're 250 pages in and now you're angry. You're annotating aggressively. You're texting your friends like, this is so bad. You're not enjoying it. You're not even neutral about it. You are actually having a negative experience. And instead of choosing to stop, you are choosing to continue. For what? Closure? You want to see how it ends? Let me save you some time. Google exists. Spoilers are free. You don't need to emotionally suffer to find out who dies. You start trusting yourself less. This one is subtle, but it's actually the worst one. Every time you ignore your instinct that says, I'm not enjoying this, you teach yourself not to trust your own taste. You override it. You're like, no, must keep going. Other people liked it. Must finish. No, you don't. So now your internal compass is broken. Because instead of using your own opinion, you defer to the internet, to the hype, to the ratings, to what you think you should like. And then you wonder why you keep picking books that don't hit. It's because you stopped listening to yourself. And my friends, readers, that's heartbreaking. You missed books that would have actually changed you. This is the part that genuinely makes me so mad because the opportunity cost here is huge. Every hour you spend dragging yourself through a book you hate is an hour you're not spending on something that could have wrecked you in the best possible way. You could have found your next 5-star read. The one that makes you feel insane. The one you won't stop talking about. The one that reminds you why you love reading. It's probably sitting on your bloody shelf. It's probably in your house already, on your Kindle, waiting. And you are ignoring it because you're loyal to a book that is giving you less than nothing. That's like staying in a bad relationship when your soulmate is literally texting you, hey, stand up. You become the, I guess it was fine reviewer. Let's be honest for a second. This is where mid reviews are born. Because when you force yourself through books you don't like, God, you don't come out of that with clarity. You come out tired. So your review is like, it was good. I enjoyed parts of it. It just wasn't for me, but I can see why people like it. Do you really believe that? Or are you just trying to justify the time spent? Because sometimes it was fine actually means I should have DNF'd this at page 60, but I actually didn't know how I felt about DNFing it. And that's how the taste gets muddled because you're not having strong reactions anymore. You're just enduring. So now you're in a slump that actually isn't real. You didn't trust your own taste. Reading has become a chore. And you're out here writing, it was fine reviews like it's your job. All because you wouldn't put a book down. So the real question is this. How do we fix this? How do we undo the damage and teach you how to walk away without spiraling into guilt and identity crisis? All right, I'm going to stop dragging this out for you because at this point, some of you are like, okay, I hear you, Stacey, but I still feel weird about it. Yeah, because you've been conditioned to think quitting equals failure. So I'm going to reprogram you real quick. We're not quitting. We're curating. You're not weak. Baby, you got standards. So rule number 1, you are allowed to leave at any time. I need you to internalize this like it is law. This is Litdulterous Whore, okay? You are allowed to leave at any time. I don't care if you're 10 pages in. I don't care if you're on page 187. I don't care if you're 80% in and the plot just decided to wake up. If it's not hitting, get out! Because some of you think there's this invisible checkpoint where you're like, well, I've made it this far. I might as well finish it. No, that is the trap. That's how they get you. That's how you end up 6 hours deep in something you don't even like, just out of principle. Principle? This is not a war. This is a book. You are not obligated to see it through to the end. There is no moral high ground in suffering through bad pacing. Because some of you don't trust yourselves yet. So we're going to give you structure. Think of books like samples at Costco. You don't eat the whole tray just because you picked it up. You try it. You assess. You move on if it's mid. Give a book 50 pages, maybe 3 chapters, whatever feels fair. But here's the key, and I need you to hear this. You are not reading those pages to convince yourself to like it. You are reading those pages to see if it earns your time. Different energy, because some of you are in there negotiating. Okay, it's slow, but maybe it'll get better. No, we're not dating potential. We're reading what's actually in front of us. If it's boring now, that matters. Get out! Rule number 3, normalize the soft DNF. This is for my people who are dramatic. You do not need to make a scene every time you DNF. You don't need to go to Goodreads and write a thesis. You don't need to announce it like, unfortunately, I regret to inform you all that I will be discontinuing my reading of. No one cares. No one asked. Sometimes it's just, close the book, and say, yeah, not today, Satan. That's it. No rating, no explanation, no guilt spiral, because not every book needs closure. Sometimes you just need your peace. And also, let's be honest, some of you don't DNF because you don't want to admit you were wrong. You thought it was going to be a 5-star read, and it's not. And now your ego is like, well, we've committed to this, my identity. Let's go. Be wrong. It's fine. Your reading life will improve immediately. Rule number 4, you can come back later, but please don't lie to yourself. Yes, DNF does not necessarily always mean forever. Sometimes it's a timing thing. Sometimes it's a mood thing. Sometimes your brain just says, "Ugh, not right now." And that's okay. That's so valid. But let's be honest with each other for a second. Some of you are saying, I'll come back to it. And you absolutely won't. That book is going to sit on your shelf for 3 years while you avoid eye contact with it. And that's okay too. Not every book is meant to be finished by you. Some books are just not your book. And instead of forcing it, you just release it like a little butterfly. Emotionally, spiritually, you let it go. You let it go, lives its life with someone else who will love it. Because right now, that's just not you. Okay, time for some rapid fire truths. No cushioning, no softening, just the facts. Finishing a bad book does not make you a better reader. It makes you tired. You don't owe authors your time. They already got your money. That was the transaction right there. Some books are just bad. Not for you, just bad. Hating a popular book is not a personality flaw. It means you have independent thought. If you have to convince yourself you like it, you don't. DNFing early is actually a skill. DNFing late is a lesson. Your time is more valuable than your TBR. You are allowed to have a low tolerance for boredom. Not every book deserves your patience. DNFing is not a failure. It is concernment with boundaries. I need you to fundamentally change how you see yourself as a reader. Because right now, a lot of you are operating like completionists. Your goal is to finish as many books as possible. What? Who the heck are you racing? This is not a numbers game. This is not about how many books you finish, but how many books change you. How many books make you feel something, make you think, make you stay up late, make you immediately text someone like, you need to read this. You are not here to complete books. You are here to experience stories. You are here to be entertained, to become obsessed, to be emotionally wrecked. And if that story isn't given it, if it's flat, boring, dragging, lifeless, you are allowed to leave the party. And not in a polite way. You don't need to say goodbye. You don't need to thank the host. You don't need to explain yourself. You can Irish exit that book. Sayonara. Bye-bye. Gone. Disappear. Protect your peace. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to think about the book you are currently reading. The one you keep avoiding. The one you keep checking page count on. The one you keep saying, it will get better. Let's be honest. And I mean deeply honest. If you walked into a bookstore today and saw that book sitting on a shelf, would you pick it up again? Or would you breeze right on past it? Because if the answer is you'd walk past it, why are you still reading it? close it right now. I'm not joking. I am serious. Close it. Feel that? That feeling rushing through you right now? That's relief. That's what reading is supposed to feel like. No pressure, no obligation, not, I'm just going to get through this. That's relief. That's excitement. That's curiosity for what other books are out there. So go pick up something that actually feels good, makes you feel something. A book that reminds you why you even started reading in the first place. Because the goal was never to finish everything. The goal was to love it. And some of you forgot that. I hope I fixed that for you today. You're welcome. Now go break up with that book and don't text it back. And I'll see you on the next episode. Don't forget to be liking, sharing, and following me on all my socials and my podcast. And readers, I hope you have the reading week that you deserve. And I will catch you next week. Take care.